When I was still a young YFC member, I learned that our dreams is also the plan of the Lord for us. But when I became a lay Catholic missionary, my eyes were opened to more realities. I learned that yes, our dreams are also the plan of the Lord for us, but it is always linked to the world's greatest need. The reason why there are teachers, because the world needs teachers. The reason why there are medical professionals, the world needs medical professionals. The reason why there are parents, because the world needs parents. The same way that the reason why there are nuns, priests, religious, and lay people, because the world needs us. Whatever our vocation is, professions, we are called and we are sent. Good morning, maayong buntag, maayong aga, salamat pagi. I am Brother Tim Aller, a lay Catholic missionary from Couples for Christ. Couples for Christ is a lay organization that is present in 140 countries and territories around the world. And I was blessed that in the year 2010, when I became a missionary, I have experienced the fullness of Christ. It has been 15 fruitful and faithful years that the Lord has blessed me to witness His grace in every people and every encounter that I make daily. When I first said yes to become a missionary, when I first said yes to join the international setting or to be assigned in the CFC international mission setting, I was honestly overwhelmed. Every missionary's dream is to be assigned in any parts of the world, to share, to learn, and to be able to share the giftedness that was given by the Lord. When it was announced that I will be assigned and I will be serving in Indonesia, specifically in Eastern region, I was actually had mixed emotions. Una, natakot po ako. I was afraid because alam naman po natin that Indonesia is the biggest Muslim population in the world. Also, I do not know the culture yet. Pero at the same time, I'm also excited, ready to serve, eager to bring hope, and willing to be stretched. But what I realized is that the mission would not only be a work of service, but also a work of inner transformation. I thought that I was going there to just serve, to share the gospel. But the mission would be just as much about what God would do in me as what He might do through me. In the first 3 years, I was assigned in the eastern region of Indonesia, a vast and culturally rich area scattered across many islands. Since CFC built a school in one of the islands as part of Couples for Christ Work with the Poor program, which is answering the cry of the poor, my primary task was to handle the values formation of teachers, of students, and even parents. And during the weekends, I also do missions in the nearby barangays and different islands. I also connect with sponsors, donors, and help in the operations of the school. Nagturo din po ako ng English aside from handling those pastoral formations, especially for the students and the teachers who are already members of Youth for Christ and Singles for Christ. Aside from that mission, one thing that I've learned is that the mission in that part of the world is not a singular task. It is not just about preaching. It is not just about building. It is not just about teaching. It is about learning to live with people, not just work for them. It is about speaking. It is about walking slowly, learning deeply, and loving sincerely. Indonesia is often described as the most diverse Muslim majority nation in the world. Sa eastern region pa lang po, the diversity is even more striking. There are communities rooted in Christianity, Islam, animist belief. May mga rituals pa rin po doon. Dadasal pa rin po sila sa mga anito nila, sa mga puno and everything. And they have also their own tribal traditions. Each village speaks a different dialect. Parang Pilipinas din po. Customs around like eating, praying, dressing, gender roles, kasi more on patriarchal po sila, and even how they greet one another differ from a place to place. One village welcomed me with songs and dances that told their history. Para po akong celebrity noon. Hindi ko po alam kung yun ba yung nararamdaman ng mga celebrities, pero during that time, I felt like VIP. But kidding aside, I felt their warmth. Another village had a simple yet touching welcome. Nag-offer lang po sila ng boiled cassava, boiled banana, at buko juice as a gesture of friendship. In most places, I was an honorary adopted son of their own local system, family system. It was actually a humbling experience to experience that hospitality from those who had far less materially, but offered far more spiritually and relationally. Early in my mission, I had plans. I had strategies on how to increase the number of couples for Christ and the family ministries as well. I had my timeline. But I quickly discovered that what worked in theory is not always applicable in reality. There was one instance when I wanted to stay or wake up late only to be awakened by the noises outside. Doon po sa bahay na tinitiran ko because marami po mga batang maliliit who are excited to just simply bond with me. To learn, to spend time. And parati po silang nagtatanong kung saan mga areas at lugar na po akong napuntahan. I've also tried to organize like prayer meetings para sa mga youth, the way we are doing here in the Philippines. Only to realize that the community preferred storytelling accompanied by traditional songs. I tried to teach worship songs also in English, Catholic and Christian songs in English. But since there is a language barrier, the participants were not able to grasp the meaning of the lyrics. Pero good thing na meron na pong English at Bahala translated Catholic na pwede po silang sumabay. Another time, I prepared for a YFC prayer assembly. In one area, pinagdasal ko po yung topic, only to be delayed for hours. Kasi meron pong tribal ceremony that no one would dare to interrupt. I had to unlearn my own pace and expectations. I had to listen more than speak, observe more than direct, and ask more than assume. These were not just adjustments in method, but they were transformations of the heart. Mission work is often romanticized, but there are days or hard days too. Days when I felt alone, misunderstood, or yung feeling na hindi na po ako effective as a missionary. There were also times that I got sick. At pag nagkakasakit po ako, ayoko pong isipin pa ako ng ibang tao. I'm a nurse by profession, by the way, but I'm a missionary by occupation. So yung iiyak ko na lang po, naaalagaan ko rin yung sarili ko. Ay, okay lang yan, maging okay ka rin. Ipanadol mo na lang yan or paracetamol. I got COVID 4 times. I need to isolate or even experience spiritual dryness as well. Yung alam niyo po na all of us are praying, pero during the time that I'm praying, it's really silence. The Lord is really silent during my prayers. Pero, ano po yung pinanghahawakan ko? That even if my prayers are silent, I know that God is never absent. I also had a motorcycle accident. Hindi rin po to alam ng pamilya ko. Nagulat lang po ako na 10 minutes after, yung bishop pa po mismo ng Larantuka yung sumundo sa akin at tagatid sa akin sa hospital. I almost thought that I would die and be buried in a foreign land. There were also logistical hurdles, power outage, Marami po kasing villages doon, wala pa rin po silang power supply. They just rely on batteries and solar panels. Even in the early years, nung pinatay yung school, I also experienced rotational blackouts. It lasted for days. Okay lang po sana kung walang kuryente. Feeling ko kaya ko pa po. Pero yung hindi maligo ng 2 linggo, yun na po siguro yung isa sa pinakamahirap. The internet connection also is really bad in most areas that it almost took my sanity away. I remember being once stranded in one area due to a bad weather. There was no signal. I do not have enough cash for me to book a transient place. I had no choice or I had no idea how to reach the CFC leaders there. Then, meron pong Muslim couple na nadaanan lang po nila ako and they asked me kung saan ako papunta. Then I told them that I am actually lost. What the Muslim couple did is that they offered to house me and they feed me. I stayed with them for a month since I needed to visit parishes, schools, and villages. The first time that I got COVID, hindi po ako makabalik dun sa Angkop School na accommodations. Kasi 0 pa po ang nagkaka-COVID dun sa barangay na yon. Hindi rin po ako pwedeng bumalik sa bishop's residence for the reason that the good bishop and the priest are already old. At hindi rin po ako pwedeng pumunta sa mga nakilala ko pong mga madre paring mga Pinoy. Kasi ayoko po silang mahawaan. But there was one local family who allowed me to quarantine in their home. Sila pa po yung lumipat in order for me to rest and recover. Dahil nasa isla po ako, nung nag-positive po yung antigen test ko, I need to do the swab test. And the swab test, kailan po ito ipadala sa Jakarta. And the results will come back a month after. Ganun po siya katagal. I asked the local Ministry of Health na hindi po sana nila ilabas na isa po ako sa nag-positive. Kasi ang takot ko po, baka hindi na po pabalikin lahat ng estudyante dun sa school, wala na po kong magawa. Tapos nag-okay naman po sila. Pero when the local nuns, when they learned about my situation, everyday po silang nagpapadala ng pagkain sa mga prutas. Pero po, nalaman din ng mga kapitbahay na nag-positive po ako dahil ambulansya po yung nagdadala ng pagkain. So wala po akong nagagawa. Most of the time, I'm just inside. Lumalabas at tumatakas po ako ng mga 11 ng gabi para lang po magpahangin sa labas. Pero I know, okay na po ako noon. The act of unexpected kindness was a reminder that God always makes a way. Often through people that we least expect. Until now, I still have a constant communication with those families and individuals. Over time, I began to realize a few things that reshaped my faith. First, I wasn't bringing God to Indonesia because He is already there. The Spirit of God moves long before I arrive and continue long after I leave. The YFC programs in some areas where I started are still doing good. They still gather, they still conduct activities, they continue to share their faith, and continue to grow in fellowship and love with one another. My role was to witness God's work, participate humbly, and honor the sacredness that is already present in people's stories. Second, faith in Indonesia is expressed in different ways. There was a village that worshiped barefoot under a tree, singing harmonies that I couldn't even replicate. Some villages gather in a simple chapel with no sound system. Na kahit ako, pag umaattend po ako ng misa, hindi ko po talaga marinig yung homily ng pare. Yet, there is a strong sense of unity. Unity para sa akin, kasi alam ko na natutuwa sila sa homily, pag pumapalakpak na po sila, so papalakpak na lang din po ako. Pero kidding aside, everyone is really united there, especially on how they are growing their faith. I had also an encounter with Pat Dwi. He's actually a Grab driver. Isa po siyang protestante. Pero, what amazed me is that in his Grab car, he hangs a rosary beads. Meron din po siyang rosary beads sa pocket po niya. Nung time na yon, na-curious po ako and he tried to share something. According to him, bata pa lang daw po siya, meron pong malapit na Catholic church sa kanila. And he always goes to the grotto sa lahat ng Catholic church na nadadaanan niya and just stay in front of the Blessed Virgin. Kasi he always finds peace. You know, at first, hesitant po ako na maniwala. Pero nung sinabi niya that he also prays the rosary, na kahit hindi niya po alam gamitin, pero hinahawakan niya lang po, I felt the sincerity of his words. At dahil po, I was raised and born as a Marian devotee, praise God to the RVM sisters, praise be Jesus and Mary. Yan. His story opened my eyes that authentic faith doesn't require extravagance. It actually requires presence. At yung nakakataba po ng puso, bago po ako bumaba, pinagdasal niya po ako. Umiyak po ako nung time na yon kasi yung experience na yun, I think hindi siya kayang bayaran ng kahit anuman. The experience of receiving the giftedness from one person having a different culture, being a recipient of God through that person, ay sobra-sobra po sa ine-expect ko nung nag-missionero po ako. These years taught me that mission is not a task to accomplish, but it is a life to be lived. It's not a project, it's a pilgrimage. It is less about changing others and more about being changed. As I went back in the Philippines in 2023, I carried with me more than memories. I carry imprints. The faces of the children that I taught, elders who blessed me dahil napagkakamalan po nila akong pare, mothers who wept in prayers, fathers who wished to raise a faithful family, friends who became family. 6 years later, I look back and see not just what I gave, but what I received. To those considering a life of mission, especially to my fellow youth, say yes, but be ready. Be ready to be surprised, be ready to be stretched, and be ready to be shaped in ways that you can't imagine. The mission is not over. It continues wherever love is needed, wherever truth must be lived, and wherever God's presence is revealed through our presence. Indonesia may have been a place, but the journey continues. In me, in them, in Him. Padayon, thank you very much, and may God bless us all.